Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. This podcast I started 3 years ago to chronicle me starting stand up. This podcast is a weekly podcast. It comes out once a week, and this is just a small little introduction video into the podcast. So, down below in the description of each episode, you can go to my Linktree and find links to everything connected to me. This podcast is available on YouTube, which you're watching it on right now, and also on Spotify. But yeah, that is just a small introduction into this podcast and everything that goes along with it. Hello, welcome back to the podcast Al Talks. Hello. Yes, so today, many things to discuss. This again is part of a couple of bulk records. The last two episodes I've put out, people seem to have really enjoyed, which is great. Great success. The very successful episode. A lot of people watched it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's why I do it. Well, I sometimes enjoy making these, sometimes I don't. Because it's difficult. Anyway, so what do I want to talk about? Today I want to talk about... I was thinking about this because, like I said, I'm recording 3 episodes in the one day, so it's going to be released over the next 3 weeks. And I think the best way to do it would be in the order that it happened. So I suppose I'll do it in that way. So I went to see Stavros Halkias. I'm recording this on Saturday. This happened on Friday, the 12th of September. So yeah, this literally just happened last night. Yeah, it was great. Stavi's, I think, it was his first time in Ireland as well. It was in a big theatre called the Theatre, which is very nice. Although upstairs they have very cramped seating. But I was downstairs on the main floor, which had a bit of leg room. Because last time it didn't, because there's quite an old theatre and those are old janky seats. But the ones down below are not janky old seats, so that's good. I have the microphone up a little bit too loud. I don't want it to come across roaring on the audio, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Hello. There we go. Okay. So, the tour is that Stavi's on is called the Dreamboat Tour. I think he started about... I'm trying to think now. It's been out a while because he's touring in the US as well. Before he came over to Ireland. I think that's... Hello? I don't know, maybe turn up the audio, I don't know. It sounds a little strange to me. Okay. I think I'll just leave it like that. But anyway, so the Dreamboat Tour, I won't, as how I usually talk about any touring comedians, because this will eventually be part of a special. I don't want to give stuff away, so kind of the only bits I'll mention from the performance would be just like the crowd working bits and whatnot, and what I overall thought of the performance. So I suppose I'll get right into it. Actually, before I go on, Richie Breen opened up for Stavy. Richie is a comedian from Belfast, Northern Ireland. And actually, the week I started doing comedy, I did the Battle of the Acts on Thursday, and then Saturday I went to Laughter Lounge, which is like Ireland's biggest comedy club, to go see a professional show. And Richie Brew is actually one of the comedians on that night. So I've done... Well, I haven't worked with Richie, but we've been at the same gigs before, I think. I'm trying to think. I think we were performing the same lineup once, from what I remember. But anyway, Richie also opened up for Craig Conan when I went to see him. I think it was last year or this year. I can't remember, to be honest. I think it was this year. I think. Maybe it was last year. I can't remember. Might have been last year. I think around Christmas time or something. But so Richie did. Richie is a phenomenal comedian. He did a fantastic job. Really, really enjoyed Richie's performance. Opened up for Stavy. It was great. really fun. The crowd really, because like last when Richie opened for Craig Hornan, the crowd kind of didn't get on board with Richie at the very start. It was a bit strange because, like I said, Richie's a great comic, so the crowd weren't fully on board, but he had him at the end. Whereas this time, people were just loving it. Um, I bumped into who did I bump into? It's not somebody I know, but as a friend. Basically, this guy grew up with one of the comedians I know, which just got talking at before the show started, Stavy and stuff. But I'll talk about more on that on like later episode, which will be out at this stage. I think from this week, about 2 weeks time or so, because it kind of delves into the topic I want to discuss for that week's episode. So, but yeah, so the yeah, it was very very interesting because like obviously a lot of topical stuff has happened of late, and Stavi has been like away from the at this stage. Like he's been in Europe for 2 weeks. I think he's going to Manchester, Glasgow. He was in Greece. I think he might be going to London as well. A couple of countries around Europe, anyway. So, doing a little bit of touring and whatnot. Overall, I've only watched Stavi in specials. So to see him perform live for the very very first time was hilarious, especially like when if you know Stavros Halkias and you watch his what was it going to say? Yeah, if you've watched his specials, you'll know like Stav will make a joke and then he'll into the mic he'll go which is very fun to see on stage. Like it's really whatever quirks comedians have. When you go see them live and when they're doing it, you're like, I know that bit. It's fun. A lot of people there have known about Stavi from the days of Cumtown. I started watching it from after Cumtown, so I never really knew any of that stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of people there. It's great. Excuse me. It's great to see comedians coming over from the US to Europe because back in the day it was always a loss for them because it was so expensive to come with visas and all this sort of stuff. But I think it's slightly easier nowadays with like the promotion teams like MCD and Aiken and stuff like that. They bring comedians over, which is really good because like like I've never been to the US and it's expensive to go over there and stuff like so. It's it's a two-way street that's of equal hazards. Except if I go over to the US, I don't because there's a thing. There's like a special visa people can get to live in Ireland. But anyway, so which basically allowed me to go there for 3 months without a visa. It's just for a holiday, not for work or anything. So I could potentially go. But anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, so the from like the actual seed stabbing on live and whatnot, the I'm really looking forward to this like Dreamboat Tour stuff when it comes out as special, which would be I don't know when that is. Stabby didn't say. He hasn't mentioned on a podcast episode either, but I'm presuming later this year, maybe early next year or something. Comedians usually spend between a year or two on what you want to call it on specials, and I think Stabby's been touring this one for quite a while. Because I remember, like I do listen to his podcast, not every week, but most weeks, and Dreamboat Tour has been on for quite a while, from what I remember. Because Stabby was also on filming season 2 of Tires, which I talked about before. I think I mentioned it in the Steph Tollef episode 2 weeks ago. That like Steph Tollef was playing Stavi's wife. Stavi's like I said, he plays like Steve Bruin, not Bruin, Byrne, Steve Byrne, not Byrne, Brian, not Brian. I can't remember. Whatever the guy in who's like the in charge, the manager of Valley Forge out of one of the stores. Stavros plays his cousin in the series. So, but yeah, so Overall, very very impressed. Really funny show. Stavros came out in this like really cool tracksuit as well. That's kind of like his signature thing. It was a really cool tracksuit. I wonder where he got it. But yeah, it was really fun. The crowd work stuff was great as well because he brought up Stavi was like a test tube baby, and he asked people in the audience, "Is there anyone else a test tube baby?" And this guy answered. He's like, "Oh, yeah, are you the oldest?" He's like, "Yeah." "Have you got any other siblings?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Is he a test tube baby as well?" He's like, "No, he's not." And Stavi, like this kid was like, "Oh, the parents like him more. He's better than me," and like really let down on himself. Stavi's like, "Man, come on, like don't be so down on yourself," because like I don't know if you have heard of Stavi's World podcast. People can ring in with their problems, and Stavros like tries to help them out and stuff like that. And then yeah, so he was like, you could like people can call in with their problems and stuff like that. I kind of really felt in that part of the show. It was really fun. Like I said, really enjoyed it. Glad Stavros came over to Europe. Hopefully becoming a lot more in the future. And trying to think, what am I thinking about? Oh yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Because like I said, bulk recording this, so I have to get on and record the next episode. As per usual, all the links down below to everything, all the good stuff. You could check it out down below. My content and everyone else's content, that my fellow friends, fellow comedians, fellow performers, fellow artists, all the good stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you all in next week's episode. Bye bye.